Hey, folks, just a friendly reminder that all shows on the Madness Comic Network are produced by their individual hosts and in no way reflect the opinions of the network as a whole. The statements in the following broadcast are not necessarily the opinions of the Madness Comic Network, its staff, sponsors, or contributors. This show is rated TVMA, as are all of them and all those other letters. Viewer discretion is highly advised, and, just do what Doc says. Read that again. Peace, everybody.
Flip City Magazine is just really pulling out all the stops, man. Your guys' production value of this magazine has gone insane. I mean, look at that. I mean, I remember when you guys, it was black and white. Even when it was black and white, I thought your quality was great. But damn, they just really stepping it up a notch. Look at this. James Corbett, boys. James Corbett.
Genuinely cutting. But also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.
The Madness Comic Network and comic-related madness proudly presents Madness Tuesday Morning Brew. Tune in to our content on Comic Talk with Pops Van Zandt on YouTube.
Oh, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Oh, it's a rainy Tuesday here in Texas. I'm wearing my hoodie today because it's that kind of a day. It's just gloomy and dark like my soul. Just kidding. I got plenty of coffee and I'm caffeinated. I'm going to have a great time today. Our guest today is none other than Tom Hutchinson from Big Dog Inc. and Critter. We got lots to talk about. But first, quick update. Path of the Pale Rider. If you guys missed last week's brew, we did the slice and dice. We killed the freaking jackfruit. His name was Jack the Ripper. He got axed to pieces. And the stool also died. The stool did not make it through the two-handed axe. I didn't think it would. It made it pretty far, and then it went. So I have the recap up on my YouTube. I have some shorts. So if you want to see the shenanigans, you can still go back and see all the shenanigans. And that jackfruit, Jack the Ripper, he got made into hot sauce. So I have a very limited run of Jack's Revenge. There's 8 bottles, and oh my God, it is super hot. So it's jackfruit and habanero. It's so hot, I'm not going to eat it. So for those of you spice, like the high tolerance heat, I'm keeping it in reserve for Path of the Pale Rider people. I will not take it to shows with me. We're going to put it on the next campaign though. So there'll be 8, maybe 8 bottles. It depends. If my dad wants one, he gets one first. You know what I mean? That's how it goes. So other than that, we're just trucking along. Path of the Pale Rider is still in art production. I'm finishing up the riddle. So the riddle of the back cover is mostly done. I have to change one part of it when I update it, but the riddle itself is in production. So I'm excited for that. You guys like it. You guys will like it. Anyway, let's bring in our guest today. Let's start this conversation. Hey, good morning. Whoop, we're in the wrong view. There we go. Good morning, Tom. How are you?
What's going on?
What's going on?
I don't know. You have to change your opening because I don't know how you expect all of your guests to like follow this epic, like songs are going and playing, and it's just like Rhonda, and I'm awesome. And then here's Tom. Come talk, Tom.
We wake people up in the morning.
Yeah.
You got the songs, you got the ads, the sponsor ads, you got the Path of the Pale Rider goodness, and then it's over caffeinated Laurie, and then into conversation. So
All right.
That's how we roll. That's how we roll.
Sure.
So Tom, we saw each other last night on Carissa's show. Do you want to talk about it?
Do we want to talk about Carissa's show, or do we
backstage? No, what happened because of last night's show? It was the crow. Was it Wicked Prayer?
I caught the curse. I caught the curse. I took the bullet for everybody. Yeah.
I really admire the fact that I know that you have this love-hate relationship with movies, but a lot of times you will put yourself in the path of that speeding bus.
or shark or crow or
whatever, and watch the terrible movies so the rest of us that don't have time to can appreciate.
It's like I said, when I watched that terrible shark movie, Something in the Water, I was like, look, I watch so you don't have to. And
right,
you guys can continue. I do this for you, Laurie, so that you can continue binding books and making hot sauce rather than sitting down and going, why am I here watching this nothing?
I feel like sometimes you wish you could have your hour and a half or 2 hours back of your life after watching some of these. This is a continuation of last night's show, John. We're just going to
2.0. It's 2.0. Yeah.
So if you want to see more, go look at Tom's post about it because it's funny. So but let's talk about what's coming up for you. What's popping, what's new. Introduce yourselves for everybody that's watching, just in case you're not familiar with Tom Hutchinson and Big Dog Inc.
If you don't know who I am by now, what are you doing? What is your life?
Show, but we could have like someone who has just found the YouTube last week. You know what I mean?
Very true. Very true. Yeah, you've got a growing audience. So yeah, absolutely. And I don't even remember the last time I was on here. I think it was like almost a year ago because we were doing Princesses versus Zombies. Was the last time I was on here. So it was like almost a year, like 8 months ago or something. So so I'm Tom Hutchinson. I am the writer, publisher, art director, sales guy, Kickstarter builder, shipper guy, like all the hats, but I only wear the cat hat when I'm on the shows. Yeah, but primarily, yeah, that's it. That's me right there. That's me.
He's got all the hats.
So yeah, I'm primarily the writer. I write 98% of the books that we do. Laurie writes 0.78% of the books that we do.
I've still got a percentage. That's what
that's right. You're in there. And
but you have heard of me.
That's right. Yeah, her book, for those that don't know, she wrote one of our stories for the BD14 anthology this year, which we'll have out for you sometime around October, November. The book will be available out there, so you guys can get a hold of that. If you're a Laurie fan, you can get her book towards the end of the year.
That's because it's nice to have like a crossover. If you're a Laurie fan and a Big Dog Inc. fan, then we check all the boxes.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah.
So, but Tom just, like you said, he wears all the hats and he's constantly moving.
Well, no, writers rarely move. Writers, this is basically
your brain
where
is
I'm
constantly
at.
moving.
Okay, the brain is
always
moving.
Planning.
That's it.
You're always planning, and like
not
you
so much the
out
body.
3 Kickstarters at the same time.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was a requirement. Busy. We had to do that, but yes.
You were like, thank God I'm done. And I was
like,
well,
and just in time, I have another Kickstarter arriving like today or tomorrow, and I have to do it. Yeah, but that's good because then we're caught up. You know, the campaigns that ended up getting late because of art problems and stuff. Like we're caught up, and we only really have like the last Critter, which is almost done. We have the BD14, which is almost done. That's really all we have, and then we'll be all caught up and you know right where we're supposed to be and back in line as we roll towards the last 2 campaigns for the year that will take us into 2025, which is our 15-year anniversary. So.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
It is. I mean, I feel like we just did the 10-year like last year. But suddenly,
which is also crazy. I'm like,
but I mean, that was COVID year 2020. So 2020 to now, no one knows time. Like there's no understanding of time in there. And suddenly 5 years will be gone and we'll be in 15 years instead of 10.
Well, that's what happens when you live through so many like historical moments in a year or two. It's like everything happens so fast.
Yep.
And then after that, time lost meaning. I really feel like time flew by.
Yeah.
And it's just like there was no
the fastest.
There's too many core memories created that it was like, okay.
Past 5 years of it. Or if you're an X-Files fan, it just means you were abducted.
Oh.
And you know, because that's the time loss is like, hey, wait a minute. Why? I thought this was 2021, but it's 2025. No, you've been abducted and you lost time.
Earth was abducted
into a black hole.
There you go.
Yeah. See, we're writing a story right now.
We're writing stories right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why we have this communal problem with time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but 15 years, that's nothing to sneeze at, man.
It's a lot.
I mean, and like I've said before, I really feel like you've seen so much change in that 15 years. Things have changed so much, I assume. You know what I mean? Since 100%. You started.
Personally, just for us and in the industry as a whole. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we started in 2010 when we started when we were first published. That's when I kind of consider us as real, as we were actually in stores in 2010. We started in 2009, but 2010 we were in stores. And things were normal back then, right? It's like you had a way of doing things. Like you sent your book to Diamond. Diamond decided if they wanted to carry it or not. If they said yes, they put you in the previews catalog. Then the retailers got to decide if they wanted to carry you, and on and on and on. Or of course, you went and found a publisher to do all that for you. But there was no Facebook, there was no Kickstarter. Well, there was, but it was like the nuggets of what those things were. They're not what they were now. Social media was very minimal. So, you know, and so as we grew,
MySpace?
It just MySpace, I think, was like the thing. And then I remember doing Facebook for the first time because Facebook said that you could link your eBay to it.
Yeah.
Right. That was why I did Facebook.
Okay.
It's because I was doing eBay stuff. And I was like, well, let me just do that. And then as it just turned out that in that sort of same period of time is when I started writing, and as Big Dog Inc. sort of became like a thing, I had a Facebook presence. And so that's, you know, that was our social media start. And it's still our foundation. We still do everything there really before it goes anywhere else.
Yeah.
And yeah. And so in that 15 years, I've watched the entire industry change. I've watched conventions change. I've watched the crowdfunding stuff happen. I've just, it's crazy how a complete industry can change in 15 years. I mean, it's
Yeah.
wild. It's completely wild.
Well, and I think with
because
technology too, it changes very
sure.
quick now.
Sure.
Where it's like what's happening 10 years ago maybe slowly changed in that, you know, first 5 years, and then after it's like social media and then technology gets involved, it's like very quick.
Yep. And that technology is part of, you know, what changed the retail, part of the problem. Yeah. Because, you know, if once people realize that they could like buy stuff online and not have to go to the stores and stuff, like the stores started to struggle, and it's just, it's wild, man. It's wild. I mean, I think ultimately it's better for us now, which is weird to say. Better for us as creators, because we have more opportunity, more doors are wide open for us to walk through if we choose to walk through them. But it's worse on the other side for the brick and mortar retail stores, because again, like, I don't have to go to a comic book store ever again. I can buy anything I want online, whether it's on eBay or a web store, or even just that store's website. Like, they all are like, hey, we sell comics. Like, stuff is out there. So they really have their backs against the wall, because everything, you know, Amazon changed the way that all retail works. You know, it's crazy how it's history, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, Gary Vaynerchuk always talks about, you know, technology moving forward and people freak out. It's like, at one point tractors came along and people were upset because, you know, because the farmers are losing their job. Like, oh, this is my job. The tractor's going to do it. I'm like, yeah, but that means you can go do something else now. And that's scary. But now you literally don't have to be on your hands and knees tilling field. You know, let the tractor do that part and you can figure out something else. So that's always the mindset you kind of have to have, is like, it's all going to move. The question is just, where are you going to be within that movement?
And that's really the key, I think, to success in any business, is understanding that things will change and always looking to see what is coming and how it can work to your advantage.
Yeah.
Because if you're stuck in your rut and you're stuck in your way, you're going to get left behind, like Blockbuster.
That's right. That's right.
That's
right. That's right. That's right.
That's it. You know what I mean?
100%.
So us as creators, especially when you're running like a Kickstarter, it's always like Kickstarter is changing, crowdfunding is changing, algorithms are changing, marketing is changing. Like, how do I learn from what other people are doing and help stay ahead of that? That's the hard part.
It's very hard. It's very hard. Yeah. But you just have to understand that that's how you have to attack it that way. You have to look at it that way. And if you and listen, I'm not saying that I'm like some wildly progressive thought process dude of all of this, because I get stuck in my own box of like, well, I like it this way. But you know, you have to step out of those boxes and understand that nothing is going to stay. That box will always go backwards, and there will be new boxes lined up that you have to get into. And if you don't do that, if you're really, really stuck, you're going to really, really be stuck.
You'll be a Blockbuster.
Yeah, you'll be Blockbuster.
You'll be Blockbuster. You'll have the one last store.
If you're one store, you'll have one comic book being sold in Portland, and that's all you'll ever be, is you'll have one comic in Portland. Yeah.
They have like a Twitter account, don't they? Like the last Blockbuster.
The last Blockbuster, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Pretty funny.
Yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is, guys. You know. So
what do you have planned coming up? Because we were talking about your new Kickstarter. Can I show it? We got this guy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So on Saturday, we're doing a little in between. Every now and then we do these little small campaigns, but we haven't done anything like this before. So this we're calling the back to school book fair. And the idea is basically like the old book fairs of the old days for you guys, you young Gen Z and millennials, you don't know what the hell we're talking about. But in the old days, there used to be a thing called a Scholastic Book Fair at your school, and you'd go and you could buy books and stuff. And
they still have these.
Do they still have them?
Yeah,
okay,
my kids do these. They send a list home, or like they let them go walk around the books, and they pick out their books.
Yep.
And they're encouraged to write down the price and figure out the tax and like figure out how much money.
Yep.
Right. And then they bring it home, and then we have to go like after school on a Tuesday.
Yep.
And go pick out books. Yeah.
Yeah. So, back in the day, we used to do this, and I still have one of my books that I bought at book fair, and it's a very specific memory, which is why I know I still have it.
Yeah.
It was an Empire Strikes Back pop-up book. and there was no
does he have the electrical hand like
it does have a scene where they fight and Luke like falls off the thing, like that's one of the motions, like I fell off the platform at the end. So I still have that book, but so we want to do this book fair. Now we call it the book fair because it's like everybody's going back to school now, August, September, everybody's going back to school. So we just wanted to tie into that little theme. And so the idea here though, is basically to give people an opportunity to get into Big Dog Ink books that they may not have had a chance to get into yet. And before our 2025 15-year anniversary. So if you don't know what this stuff is, you can get into it before we start celebrating all of this stuff next year. A lot of these books have not been available on Kickstarter just because we have too much. And I'm not like gonna, we would, a general Kickstarter, we'd be like, okay, here's Critter number 23. And then we'd offer like volume 1 of all of our, trade paperbacks. But in this situation, we're offering everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So all the trade paperbacks are available. A good portion of the issue number 1s of some of our new titles are available, things like that. And then we do have some variant covers and stuff for the fun stuff. For the people that already have all these trades and issues, we do have some variant covers as well, which we're starting with right here. We talked about these last night. This is our O-Pee-Chee folder tributes. With Schoolgirl. Schoolgirl is Critter's sidekick, for those that don't know. So we've got some line art there from Jen Broomall and Corey Knabel as an old O-Pee-Chee folder. Those will be printed on Critter number 10, which is Schoolgirl's first appearance. And then we have a blank one. So that's a sketch cover. So you can draw on those. They'll be printed on a nice paper, so you can draw on them.
Yeah.
And then we have the mystery envelopes where we have 3 versions of Schoolgirl. She's wearing 3 different sets of knee socks. And then on the board behind her, there's 3 different, writings behind her as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to make 33 of each of those. So there'll be 99 total available. And whichever, you'll just buy a mystery pack and you'll get one of them at random.
That's cool.
Yeah. And we will have it set up so that if you want all 3, you can just buy the pack. We'll have that arranged for you, but we're only going to do that for like 10 packs. And then the rest is just a mystery pack, and you'll get what you get. Plus there'll be a little trading card sized COA that'll be signed by me and MR Gunn, who did the art. So you'll get
Very
that too.
Cool.
Yeah.
This cracked me up. I am the paper that jams up evil printers.
Mm-hmm.
The Evils printer or evil?
I am the paper that jams up Evil's printer. Yeah. Yeah. So when you read this book, when she debuts in Critter, she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. Like she originally was this cat girl character named Kitten as part of a cat girl team called Perfection, and Perfection broke up. And so she was like, well, what do I do now? I mean, like, I don't know what's going on. Who wants to hang out with a chick who's just nothing but a hot body? Like, that was literally her thing. So she went and found Critter again. And she came into Critter's house, and she was like wearing this like sexy schoolgirl outfit. Like, it was like super short skirt and like, tied up top and stuff. And Critter was like, well, look, if you're going to be my sidekick, all of this has to change. Yeah. We're gonna fix all of this. And so they gave her a new costume that was a little more, nice, has the vest, the tie, the whole thing. Like, it's like, hey. And then so when she finally like gets out and debuts in her first day, she jumps off a building and almost breaks her ankles because she's like, that's the worst. And then she gets up and there's like two crooks trying to steal a car, and they're like, who the hell are you? And she's like, all right. She like kind of dusts herself off, like, yeah. And she says, I am the evil that jams up evil's printer. I am the pop quiz that you're not prepared for. So she just totally channels Darkwing Duck, because that's just what she understands.
Yeah.
And then she goes on and starts, punching them out and what have you. So
I was cracking up. I was cracking up at Schoolgirl in the stuff that you sent me. I thought she was pretty funny, but I was like, of all the characters, like superhero name, Schoolgirl. I was like, well, okay. But the part with the octopus was the best part.
Oh, see, people miss that. Like, that goes right over people's heads. I love it. I love that you got that. That's great. See, this is why I'm on this show, because you are the deep dive. I love it. Yeah.
The octopus was great. That was spot on. I was like, oh, geez. Okay. Thank you for that. And she just like did. Yeah, it was a blink and you miss it kind of moment.
Totally.
You know what I mean? It was like 2 panels and then it was gone. And I was like, did I just? Okay. They're going to talk about that later. Thanks.
Okay. All right. That's good. That's good.
But yeah, she's a great character. Can she fly or can she not fly?
She cannot fly. She cannot fly. We designed that page so it looks like she was flying.
Yeah.
But then as it pulls out, you realize that
she just like jumped off a thing.
There's the two. She did jump off that one thing, but there's the one thing where she's kind of like doing this. She's like looking around, like, I don't know, I don't see what I'm looking for. And then you pull out and you see that Tomcat is actually holding her by her suspenders.
Yeah.
And flying her around like that way. And then we did a cover. CB Zane did a great cover for her, where she's in her bedroom and her room is just filled with Easter eggs. It's got critter posters and just like, it's just filled with stuff. But she herself has hooked up her suspenders to her ceiling fan, and she's flying around, on her ceiling fan. So yeah, she's in a way, she's sort of like the ultimate cosplayer, because she's just fully diving into all of it. She's just fully meta into everything. And she's a lot of fun. She hasn't had a huge like push, because again, she's Critter's sidekick, but every time we do something with her, like that piece right there, that was actually done. That's the Kickstarter we're about to ship. We did our drive-in day over in June. But it's also, this is the 25th anniversary of Napoleon Dynamite. And so I did that. I did that vote for Critter to sort of homage Napoleon Dynamite. So that's one of the covers that's coming.
It was like 25 years. Oh.
Yeah.
We're old. But this is one of the things I think you're really tuned into that I think kind of sets Critter and Big Dog Inc. apart, is how you do like all the special days. Skateboard day, or was it Catnip Awareness Day, and you rolled all like drive-in movie day.
Yeah,
it was all rolled into like one story. Yeah, one story, and you were able to run that together as a Kickstarter. I thought that was really cool, and that your characters actually play into a lot of these days, like Catnip Awareness Day, obviously for Critter. And then, the 25th anniversary, and we got Schoolgirl here wearing vote for Critter as opposed to vote for Pedro. So things just tend to lean into each other. And I think that's what really gets people's attention.
It's, the camp crossover stuff was an experiment that I did. And it worked. And we was like, okay, well, let's try this again. Let's do something else with it. Okay, well, that kind of worked. And then it became really like, that's where we really dove into the days. The first two were just kind of like, whatever, let's just send them to summer camp. And then it became like, well, let's do Pillow Fight Day. Let's do Princess Day. Let's do Bikini Day, Alien Abduction Day. And so, we just ran them square into all these bizarre days.
Yeah.
And it just seemed to keep working. And so it's become like an annual thing now. Sometimes we do a couple a year, but it's at least an annual thing where we're like, okay, let's find a day, and we decide if it's either going to be a story within canon, like Alien Abduction Day is actually a story within Critter canon, because it's this character up in Alaska, and her name's Ukalik. And she's up in Alaska in the wilderness, and she finds UFOs abducting reindeer. And she's like, what are you doing with the reindeer? And so that's actually canon to Critter. When we do the camp crossover stuff, that's all like alternate universe thing.
Yeah.
We're pulling them all from their stories and putting them in like a summer camp situation. So it's a true, just like, it's almost like they're actors, right? Like when they're in the comic books, they're acting, and then like here's the actual characters going to summer camp. So
that's funny.
and if it has to be a summer camp story, we just turned it into a summer camp story.
Summer camp picture. Let's see.
There is one. Yeah, it's a little further down. Keep going. Right there. It's a little small. Go back up. Right there. Yeah. Yeah. Right next to Scheherazade there. So, and so there's an old movie called Meatballs from like 1979.
Yes.
And so Jason Hare, who did that book, we hadn't decided on a cover. And so he was working on the insides, and I was like, yeah, this is good. And I was trying to think about like, okay, how do we do a cover? And then he just sent me this rough of that cover, which is me on the fence with all the girls. And it's the Meatballs movie poster with Bill Murray.
Could you tell it was you from the pencils?
Instantly. Yeah. Instantly. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's the cover. That's it right there. We're doing that. So super fun. And I'm in the book too. I'm like one of the lead counselors of Camp Crossover. And it's just stupid meta jokes and fun nonsense. And a friend of mine, Allison Lear, who does cosplay for us, she's been Critter, she's been Dorothy, she's in the book as well. So cool. And so it's really just sort of like let's turn this into like a sort of a annual family reunion, for all of us in this book. So it's been really fun.
Those make me laugh.
Yeah, it's good.
Princesses versus zombies. And see, what's great, Tom, is every time you come on the show and you're doing something different, I get the benefit of like, here, Laurie, here's some PDF for you to read. And I get to enjoy what you're doing. You know what I mean? Sure. Like, I have never read Critter before. I got to read the Goth Day one, but there's a whole slew of characters. I was like, holy crap.
Critter is a huge universe.
And I was like, Icon and hey, John Davies, what's up, man? Paradox. I was like, we have to have a long discussion about Paradox at some point, because F that guy, right?
I love the reactions of people, because Paradox is universally loved by people. Like really? they're like, this guy is so cool, he's so cool. And then there's Laurie. Fuck that guy.
It's so pulling strings.
Yeah, you never really know. Yeah, it's like you never really know like who's getting, because there's layers to it all. Right. It's not just like oh, he's a bad guy and like this is a good guy. Like it's a layered thing. But it's funny to see who kind of picks up on stuff and who's just sort of along for the ride until the big reveals sort of happen. But in my brain, I'm like, this guy's clearly monkeying around with stuff. But it's almost like people, they're just fine with it. I mean, look, people like the Joker, right? They're just like, people like the Joker is awesome, like, and so that's where we're at.
Did you watch the same movie that I did? Because like, he's obviously the bad, and he's doing bad stuff. And he's so manipulative. Yeah. And at first, when I was reading some of the things while we were on Corissa's show, because you talk for a bit and then sometimes you take a back seat on that show. So I was just, what's in the coffee? Wouldn't you like to know? Actually, I started making my own cashew milk, because don't laugh at me, Tom.
Too much, Laurie.
Because I do lots of things, right? So it's coconut cream and cashew milk that I make myself with some dates and I put pumpkin spice in it this time. It's really good. So that's what's in the coffee. And I think it's just it's a Hawaiian roast. I think it's the Kona blend that I got from HEB. So it's delicious.
I'll give you a little promotional boost. It's brisk, baby.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, here, make it big.
Officially sponsored. Here, you got to.
Yeah, no, I wish we were sponsored by Brisk. There you go. Oh, Brisk, if you're watching.
It's brisk, baby.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, now we're getting sued.
Official sponsor of the Laurie Calcaterra show.
You know, I drink pumpkin spice all year round, so I'm not really a pumpkin spice girl. I am a spooky girl though. So like, I already posted the TikTok on my Facebook. There was like the person in all black with the pumpkin face, and it's like September 1st starts spooky season. Damn it, off we go. Like, we're gonna be weird and spooky because that's where I live. Ronnie, he's like, you remember those old Brisk commercials? Yeah, we just relived it. So anyway, I was reading your stuff as we were talking last night, and first of all, I was pissed off at the damn whales. They were like, look, there's whales, and they start knocking down buildings, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I guess we're not saving the whales anymore.
Well, but they were you understand they were being controlled.
Yeah, I know, but still, so, it's like, yeah. F them.
Yeah, I love that scene because I was like, as I was writing it, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like, so we're gonna flood the city.
Yeah,
right? Like I knew I was doing that part. Like I knew I was gonna flood the city. I knew tide pool was gonna like kind of come in, and I was like, but what could I do that would be like I don't know that anyone would ever expect to see it. I don't think anyone's ever seen it in any capacity. And so here come these humpback whales swimming through the cities and knocking down buildings. I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. That's like when I go into a pitch, for this as a movie, I'd be like, look, we have to adapt high tide because we're going to have whales knocking down buildings and it's going to look amazing.
We're going to have sharks in there.
Yeah. We're going to punch sharks and
kids.
Oh my God. Oh my God, you guys, wait till you see what I have to show you. It's like nothing anyone's ever seen before. And then Hollywood will be like, yeah, we can't do that. That's too much budget. And I'll be like, oh, fuck.
What? They could CGI it, whatever.
Oh, sure. But they'll be like, well, that's like $100 million movie, man. We can't do that. You know, what can you give us for $2 million?
An animated movie. There you go.
I'll take that too.
That would be way better.
I'll take it too. 100%.
Yeah. John Davis says, Tom, what do we expect in Princess vs. Zombies 2? Super cool series. Please share some
number 2. Well, number 2 is out, John. Do you not have a 2? Because that issue 2 is out. It's out if you were part of the Kickstarter. We've only just started putting that stuff on our website because we wanted all the backers to get their stuff first. But 2, I got some great reactions from the people because there's a specific scene, particularly at the end, where people were like, yo, what are you doing? What is going on with that?
I missed that.
So John, I will make sure that those are on our website by this weekend, and you'll be able to get them from the website. But yeah, there was again, it was one of these scenes where I was writing and I really didn't know what I was doing. I took them to a location that I was like, okay, this makes sense. If they're driving through the city and they're trying to get away from everything, like where would they go? And they come across the library. I'm not going to give you the spoiler, but I'm going to give you the setup. They come across the library and there's all these cars in the parking lot. And so they're like, oh shit, there's like people here. Like, let's go where the people are. And so they go in and they pull in. And as I was writing it, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know what is going to happen in the library. I literally didn't know because that was a spur of the moment thing. And then as I sent them in, I knew what I was going to do. I was like, oh, I see it. Boom. And so I wrote it. It took me a while to write it because I had to write it a very specific way in my head. I was like, it has to come about a very specific way. And Chow Mahato, who's the artist for the series, like did it perfectly. He totally understood what I wanted. And then so when the digitals went out a few months ago, the handful of people that read digitals, I got messages from them. They were like, yo.
I love that. I love getting those reactions.
It was great. Yeah. I was like, clearly I did my job.
did your job, yes.
So that was great. Yeah. So now
Did you drink your tears? I'm just curious.
I drink as I always say, I drink the blood of my enemies from a Kylo Ren cup.
Yeah. So I don't know if I should make these for my Kickstarters. Like other writers can get them. I drink the tears of my readers. I think
it's good. It's good. I mean, it's good. I mean, you want that stuff. You want people to have some, emotion to it. Same with Ursa Minor. Ursa Minor went out at the same time, and I got these Ursa Minor reactions that even they were when we kind of got to the finale of this whole thing, they were like, "What the hell is going on?"
Well, that's kind of how I felt too. You gave me these 2 volumes to read, and I got to the end, and I was like, "What the hell?" All right, Tom, you did it. You did the job. I'm invested.
I did the job. Yeah. So it's fun.
That's always good. Yeah.
It's so the real question is what's next, and it's either going to be a 2.5 where we get another little short princess story like we did with the mermaid, or we'll just dive into a full-size issue 3. I haven't figured that out yet because I don't know when we're doing it. Because next year's our 15-year anniversary, it's going to be really focused a lot on Critter and Penny for Your Soul, because those are the 15-year anniversary books themselves.
Yeah.
But then we are going to have the final issue of Goth Day. We're going to do a double-size issue for Goth Day to wrap up that. Yep, final issue.
Oh
no! We're going to do the BD 15 anthology, so we could potentially do a princess book in there, and then so on and so on. But there will be more PVZ for sure.
That wouldn't that be awesome? Like everybody is dead except for Big James, just roaring into the sunset. No, that's not how it ends. We actually have a really good ending in mind. But that would be great. I love to see Big James just like run. And we were talking about this too, just having like Big James run through the background of like Carissa's story. Big James runs through one of her scenes. And I don't know how many times I'm just like, you can put him in, just he can't lose, but he can run through. That would be hilarious. So I like seeing Big James just randomly run through other people's stories too. Tom, you have my permission.
Oh, it's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Damn, Tom, so much coming. Love it. I know. This is what I'm talking about with Tom. He wears all the hats and he's so busy. We've already booked a show in 2025 to celebrate Big Dog 15. You know what I mean? Because Tom has all these things planned. Oh, look who it is. Glenn. Good morning. Afternoon for you, sir. But I'm really looking forward to next year for you. I'm looking forward to next year for me too, man. So many good things coming. So let's talk about this. What else? Look, Ursa Minor ongoing series.
Yeah, so you can get all the trade paperbacks, or for some of these series, we just have these catch-ups. So if you've already got the trade paperbacks, you can get the current issues. If you've never read these, like there's all 3 Goth Days. If you've never read Goth Day, just get all the 3 Goth Days. We have it for Oz, we have it for Critter, we have it for Ursa Minor. Just anything you could imagine, like we have the ability to kind of dive in and try out the series.
Oh my gosh.
One way or another. Yeah.
So how many different this is crazy. How many different books are on this? Let's go back.
A lot. There's a lot.
And you had to build all these freaking reward tiers? Good God.
Yeah.
Still going.
I
know. It's like, and sometimes I'm like, scroll fast. All right. People are like, Laurie, don't scroll so fast. All right. So $10. $10 is where we're starting.
Yeah, your basic issues. We got a few of those for like $10, and then when you do like the quick catch-up packs, you get like 3 issues for like $20.
Yeah, okay.
So we are doing some. Again, it's book fair, so we're kind of doing some discount pricing on some of this stuff as well. Also, remember all of your prices include your shipping. There's no extra. It's not like $10 plus another $5. It's just that's whatever price you see, that's what you're paying. There's no extra.
That's great.
Yeah.
So we got $10. Okay, let's start at the beginning. We got Camp Crossover with the Meatballs homage. Scheherazade. I haven't read this one yet. It's interesting. What's this one? It's Geisha and King
Arthur's Court. Yeah. So it's a standalone story basically it's the geisha in King Arthur's court. She's like a
Okay.
warrior geisha in this book, and she's trying to save Guinevere from the problem that she's having. This one was written by, well, I mean, Carrie Castor writes the series anyway, but so she wrote that, and then Nia Rufino did the cover and all the insides. So it was just a little standalone that we did a few years ago to kind of just bring Scheherazade back into awareness. And then we have another arc that's being worked on right now. The next arc.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Do you have just this massive calendar? And I don't.
No, it's chaos. It's chaos. I have
You have like 8,000 sticky notes on a board. You look like that crazy man with all like the things connected.
You're close.
Okay.
This is it. I have endless notepads. Like endless notepads. I have stacks of notepads.
But how do you organize your notepads then?
Oh, I don't.
Like I got this in a notepad.
Nope, I don't.
Somewhere.
That's it. It's one of them. It's like, look, here's another one. Like it's chaos. It's controlled chaos, but it's chaos.
Hey man, as long as it all gets done, that's what matters.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Right? Yeah.
I would come in your house and be like, I need to organize my OCD.
Yeah, so I mean, you can just scroll quick because this is just all trade paperbacks.
Trade paperbacks. I want to look at them though.
Oh, sure, okay. You can get all of them individually.
I was like, "Why you leaving? It's 45 minutes."
I know. I told you 45 minutes. I'm out of here.
Tom's like, we gotta go. We gotta do stuff.
Wrap this up. You can get all the trades individually if you want. If you just need like one or two, you can grab them individually. Or we will also have. They're not in there yet, but you'll have like a pack. Like you can get all 5 critters at like an even more additional discount. So if you're like willing to dive all the way in, we'll have that for you too. And that's across all of the stuff that we have trade paperbacks for. So yeah, we'll make it as easy as possible, whether you're pledging for one thing or whether you want to just add something on. All these will be available as add-ons too. So you can mix and match it however you want to mix and match it and make it super easy. Super easy. And we're just about out of all these Oz trades from 1 through 4. So I have to fix that because it's not volume 43, it's volume 4. I will see the volume right there. It says volume 43.
By the way, Scheherazade had 2 Ks on it for King Arthur, so fix that one too. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We're
we're
going through the editing process.
Yeah, I was like, it's not live. You can still fix it.
So the trade paperbacks for Oz are almost gone. When they're gone, we're not going to be reprinting them. We're going to be doing a big hardcover omnibus for the first 4. Yeah.
Sorry.
So that'll be coming. Well, it depends on how fast we go through what we have left, but that'll be coming within the next couple of years. We'll be out of those, and then we'll do a hardcover omnibus.
I cannot wait to get an omnibus.
It'll be our first one. Yeah, it'll be our first one. Niai's already working on a cover for it. I told her, look, we need a epic cover for this thing. And she's like, yeah, let's go. So we've been tinkering with some ideas, and she's going to do the cover for it.
I know. A big HC omnibus.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun.
So cool.
That'll save me room on the con tables too. Because I have these like fucking
right.
Holy shit!
God.
Yeah,
but those are going to be heavy, man. You're going to.
They'll be heavy, yeah. But I don't have to bring like
17 boxes of things.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I can bring like a dozen of those to a con and sell them out and be fine. But instead of having that book take up 4 spaces on the table, it just takes up that one sort of deeper space.
Yeah,
which will save me table room for all this other stuff that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Gosh, you have like 2. You have the magazine racks, like the multiple layer ones, or are you? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we do racks, and I have just like single stands and stuff.
I got a nice rack. I just
nice rack.
Say that.
Nice racks.
Holy moly, book.
Nice rack. Yeah. And then there's all your quick catch ups.
Yeah. Okay.
Super easy. Super easy. Super easy.
I feel like your backers. Well, I mean, like we're doing this now, so people can get a preview.
Yeah.
But same thing. Yes, I know. Thank you. Nice rack. I know. I always recommend my rack to people. Great choice. But I feel the same thing. Like Carissa's campaigns. Like you need time to go through them because there's so many options, and so many times people back and they don't take the time to go through and they're like, oh, I missed this thing. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like people need to go through your campaigns to see everything that's an option before they back. So
sure. Yeah. Yeah. We try and make it as easy as possible. We don't want to make it too wild and just, batshit. But in this case, we want to give you everything this time. So there's no questions like, oh, how do I get number 2, number 3? I'm like, it's right there.
Right there.
Just scoop it all up. Yeah.
You gonna do a video, Tom, or
no?
Nah.
No. We'll probably have a video for next year that'll be on all of our campaigns as like a 15-year like video, like, hey, celebrate 15 years with Big Dog Inc. Blah blah blah. We'll probably have that, but I almost never do videos for these things. So
you did one for the last couple.
I did one for Princesses versus Zombies.
Yeah.
I did one for the drive-in day thing.
Yeah.
But they take too much time and nobody watches. Nobody watches.
I watch them.
And I know nobody watches them because it shows our analytics in Kickstarter.
I watch them. Yeah, those 3 watches, those were me.
Yeah, 3 watchers, and one of them watched the whole thing.
That was me.
Yeah. Well, and my videos are less than a minute long, and I still can't get people to watch the whole thing. So I'm like, this will be Saturday,
hard.
John. Saturday noon Eastern, and it'll be 1 week long. So we'll go Saturday to Saturday, and then we're done. Yeah.
It says 11 days on the preview.
Well, it hasn't been.
Oh, because it's not Saturday yet. I forget. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the preview, it counts down to when it goes live. Yeah.
Yeah. If we were to launch today, it would be
11
days.
Until it ended.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exciting. Your Kickstarters always do well. So I'm
Although I'm realizing we're gonna do it on Sunday. It's gonna have to end on that Sunday. So it's gonna be 8 days because I'm gonna be at a con that weekend. That I would have ended it, but I'll be home Sunday night. So it'll be Sunday night. You'll have 8 days. You'll have 8 days.
Yeah.
Hey,
Lou.
8 days to get your books.
But that's cool. It's like everything's in stock. Everything is completed.
Yes. We'll be turning it around really fast. Yeah. Like we're gonna print those new. We're even printing the new books because we know how many we need. We're making a limited edition. We're just printing them. They'll be done. So as soon as the campaign's over, it's like we just start shipping. Like we'll send the surveys out. Once you guys get your surveys in, books go out. So it'll turn and burn really fast. And then you'll be ready for Critter in October, which will be our last campaign of the year.
Oh my gosh. So are you picking up where you left off from what you sent me? What's the next thing for Critter?
you have volume 1 through 5. We've done 3 issues since. We've done 21, 22, and 23. So there's 3 issues that you don't have because I didn't send you those particular links. I just gave you all the trade paperbacks.
Gotcha.
So we're working on volume 6 right now, and that'll be issues 21 to 25. That's what we're right in the middle of right now. Omar Zaldivar is doing the art right now for 24. And then he'll be doing the art for 25. That's how we're going to start our 15-year anniversary. Is we'll have Critter in January. That'll start our 15-year anniversary. It'll be issue 25 of the series. And it'll be, it's what we've been doing for 15 fucking years to get to this point of like, you've read all of this. What does it all mean? You're going to get to find out what the hell is going on.
That's what I was like, because you kind of left me on a cliffhanger there. Like we're revealing things. And then of course it was like kablam. And I was like, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and even now, like, so beyond that, with Critter 21, 22, and 23, or this whole arc, we now have, like, when you read issue 20 and she's having these visions of these other critters. When we get to issue 22, what we call the Clockwork Kitten, the steampunk critter, she is now actually physically in Critter's world. That happens in 22.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah. And so,
God damn it, Paradox.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. And so Critter in 22, she's like, what the hell's going on? Like this. And so again, it just threads back to everything that we've been doing where Paradox is talking about alternate dimensions and dimensional compiling and like, what does all this mean? And so we start to find out what all of this means, because now again, the Clockwork Kitten and Critter are in the same universe. This like standing next to each other. Like there's a scene where they're together, and they basically like their hands come together and just kind of like do like this.
Yeah.
And they're together. They're really there. It's not like a vision or anything. And so at the end of that issue, Critter's like, I feel like you've been lying to me this whole time. Like, this is some bullshit. Like, who is this? Like, what is going on? And so she bails. Spoiler alert. She bails. She's like, I'm going home, guys. If this is what you want, you can have that Critter, and I'm going home. And so she goes back to Michigan. And then in issue 23, we kind of have that separation. So Clockwork Kitten has kind of started to take that original position of with Critter, you know, but all the heroes don't know what's going on either. So like Electric Youth and Icon and Starlet, they're all like, what? We don't know what's happening either. But she has just basically stepped in and been like, this is the job. Let's go. We gotta take this. We gotta take care of this problem. And so she starts like beating ass on some of these bad guys. Meanwhile, Critter's back in Michigan watching it kind of like on TV. And she's like, God damn, like,
what are you doing?
She's basically just at home. She's like, God damn, like clearly this is what clear was supposed to happen, because she's doing a better job than I was doing. And so that's kind of where we are with 22 and 23, and then into 24, 25. And then when we get into finally 25, we'll get sort of a final reckoning and understanding of all of this stuff that Paradox has been pulling threads on. I was going to say,
he needs a reckoning. That, you know, we need justice for Gina. I did like the names of her teammates when you were like, Cassia, I forget the other girl's name, but it was like Jason, David, and Frank. I was like, aha!
100%. See, look at you. Look at you go. 100%. And then what's funny though is that I had already had a Jason character.
Yeah.
Before I made this one.
Book name, you know,
so I now have two Jasons. And there's a joke in there at one point where somebody's on the phone and they're like, oh, hey, Jason. And she's like, oh, Jason. No, other Jason.
Oh, other
Jason. I literally have two Jasons in the thing now. But yeah, when I did my sort of Power Rangers, my Paranauts, I was like,
there's a honey badger too, which I thought was hilarious.
Badger. Yeah, honey badger. Yeah. Yeah. That was back in the day when the honey badger was
honey badger video was a thing.
Yeah, it was a thing. Yeah, I was like, I have to do this. This is too good. Oh, and there's a big giant robot bear.
There is. I know. He's a polar bear though, isn't he?
Well, he's blue and white.
He's blue and white. It was bear.
He's just a bear. Like, yeah.
There's the big giant bear next to the building, and then the chameleon. I was like, cool.
Yeah. There's the bear, the chameleon, the honey badger. What was the yellow one? There's a fourth one. What was the fourth one? And then the fifth one is the octopus.
Yeah.
Which Gina rides the octopus. Why can't I remember? There's an orange one.
Story.
Yeah, I know. There's an orange one. What's the orange one?
The orange one? I thought it wasn't it yellow?
Yellow. Honey badger's yellow.
Oh.
There's like, I can see it in my brain. There's like an orange. There's like an orange one.
This one. Let's see if I can find it. Show it off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's issue 16, I think. 15, 16, something like that.
I have to scroll. Scrolling, everybody. Oh, it's scrolling too fast.
I swear there's an orange one. I know there's an orange one. I can't think of what it is, though.
Oh, and the name of your assassin guy, Son of a Gun, was hilarious, too. I was laughing at that. Son of a Gun. Who is who in the Critter universe? Lucy and Gina were recruited to temporarily pilot the chameleon, porcupine, cephalopod, polar bear, and honey badger. It's red. Tom has disappeared. He will come right back. But look, this is what we're talking about, the Paranauts. So this is what I was talking about, where these characters look. They kind of look like Power Rangers a little bit. They're not, fully Power Rangers, but these are friends of a friend, and Paranauts are the protectors of time, space, and Cassia, Jason, David, Frank. I was like, haha, that's funny. Lucy and Gina were recruited for the temporal curators to watch the universe for anomalies caused by time travel. Hey, Tom just lost connection. He'll be right back. They pilot the Parabeasts, which include the chameleon, green, Porcupine, that's the red one. Cephalopod was purple. That was the octopus, which was super cool. Polar bear and the honey badger. I found it. Here you go.
There we go. Sorry, my mic went weird, and StreamYard hates it, and I have to literally shut all of it down and plug it all back in. It's dumb.
I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. It would not let me share the link to Facebook at all. So I had to go back and add it today and then go share it while the sponsor ads are playing this morning. But
it's a red guy. It's the porcupine.
Yeah,
that's
there
what
he
I was
is.
thinking
That's
of.
what I said. It was funny. I was like, orange? I was like,
red guy.
Here's the honey badger. That's hilarious. The yellow one is the girl, which is hilarious. She don't give up. It's great.
Oh my god. Yeah, the Paranauts. They were fun. They were fun to do. And then of course the one that you don't see there was Gina. That's Critter's friend. She ends up being the driver of the cephalopod. The cephalopod.
Are these guys? I think these guys are integral. Well, this is my theory, of course. Tom has not told me anything, but I think these guys are integral to the story because they deal with the time travel and the anomalies. So they kind of are in tune with what Paradox is messing around with. So I feel like, these guys are going to be the watchdogs, the whistleblowers, because Paradox is doing shit he's not supposed to. And he gets away with it because everybody trusts him, right?
You're on the right track. You're on the right track. Yeah, you're not. It's not 100%, but you are definitely you're in the ballpark.
Okay.
You are in the ballpark. I feel like the Paranauts. I mean, the name is like supposed to incite like parallel dimensions. Like they are the, people who understand all of these variations and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they tried to recruit Critter because spoiler alert.
Because of things. Shh, no spoilers. I was like, don't tell him that part. But Paradox very much reminds me of God, it just flew right out of my head of the blue guy, the blue naked guy from
Dr. Manhattan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he kind of like sees all and knows all, but still he has his purpose and he's not really attached to anybody's feelings. Right. He has something that he's trying to accomplish.
Right.
And he'll just steamroll you to get it and then doesn't care about lying.
Yeah, he has like you said, he knows what's going on. He has this plan. Now throughout the series, you'll see him occasionally be like, this wasn't supposed to happen. Something's wrong. Let me figure out like what is this? But it seems like every time he goes to see like, okay, well, this deviated, what does that mean for the timeline? He'll go and like check his calculations and stuff and be like, well, everything seems still normal. Or at least heading in the right direction of what we want to be happening. So, that's one of the interesting things is like there's always that butterfly effect, right? Is if something happens, it could potentially like widely modify, other things. But so far, each time Critter has kind of made a left turn, at least in the way that Paradox understands it to be happening, it still always kind of still shifts back to where he wants it to go. So he's clearly got, he's clearly been caught off guard, but he's still clearly in control enough that it's all weaving back to the way that he wants it to go.
I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah, and there's a shot at the end of, well, actually you saw part of it. Part of it is in the books where there's like the Critter that has like the different parts of her are changing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. And we talk about that a little bit in volume 6, a little bit more as well. Cause there's that's again, we won't give too much away, but there's oddities that are happening all over the place with Paradox, which makes it fun. Cause I've always liked time travel stories and stuff. And so I had to figure out how to like I had to do two things. Cause what's funny is I created the Critterverse with these different variations in the very first miniseries, like the original miniseries. It was like, I have this Critterverse. It exists. Oh, no. But this was at the same time that the multiverse thing was kind of really starting to blossom with Marvel
With
and DC.
Marvel, yeah.
Yeah, in the comics. This was way before the movies, but
right.
it was really starting to come into its own at that point. And I was kind of blind to it. I was like, oh shit, I'm kind of like doing the same thing. But then Robert Kirkman with Invincible, he did a multiverse with Invincible. And when I read that, I was like, fuck, Robert Kirkman and I are like on the same path. Like he and I, there's so much in Invincible, and I'm like, fuck you, Robert. Now I can't do that. And so when he finally did his multiverse thing, I actively had to sit down and go, yeah, but I have to make this like no other multiverse now. I have to actively create a way to sort of rationalize this and sort of not so much finalize it, but give it a purpose. And that's where I kind of changed my story and it became what it is now. And then we were off to the races. Once I got that, I was like, oh, yo, this is way better than where I was.
Sometimes you need that. Sometimes someone's like, well, they already did kind of what you were thinking. And you're like, okay, now I have to elevate, and it pushes you into greatness.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It pushes you to do something better than what you had originally intended.
100%.
I want to put this up real quick. Is this okay?
Yeah. Whatever you want.
This. Okay. So right here, there's a moment, and I'm not going to show before or after, but she's doing something, and then like this all hits her at once, where it's like these multiple versions of Critter, and it's like she comes to realize like there's these other critters out there, and it's like, what was that? And it's like, man, you need to explain this.
Yeah, there's points through the story where these little blips happen.
Yeah.
Like the bottom one, the Cat Girl of Mars, she first appears in Critter number 5 in one panel. And it's literally like it's drawn like a comic book, like it's just normal. But one of the panels, Critter goes from where she is in that panel to like where Critter would be. It's now the Cat Girl of Mars, and then it switches back to Critter, and she was like, "What the fuck was that?" It's like she had this sense of like something just happened, like a deja vu moment or something. And so that we did that with the Cat Girl of Mars. We did that with the Vampire Critter, who appeared in Critter number 8. Critter, was it 8? I think it was Critter 8, first appearance of the Vampire Critter. So we've done this kind of throughout here and there. And then it's becoming more and more serious now that she's literally seeing all these visions of essentially herself doing the same thing, right? Like she's punching out monsters, and it's all the same, except it's just a different version of her. So she's kind of like, what am I seeing? This doesn't make any sense. And then of course, what's missing here, Laurie?
What is missing here?
The Clockwork Kitten is not there.
Who's this at the bottom?
That's the Cat Girl of Mars.
I don't think I've seen her. The
Clockwork Kitten appears in Critter number 1. That's the first time we did this. Critter number 1.
I haven't read that one, Tom. These are the first 4. Well, I'm aware of Goth.
Well,
Critter.
she would be so it'd be volume 2, issue 1. The Clockwork Kitten first appears. That's the steampunk critter. And so she's the only one that we've shown throughout the series that's not in this little blip at this moment in time. Obviously, Catnip came later and there were other versions, but when this story first happened, the Clockwork Kitten is the one that didn't appear in this series of visions. And then of course she's the one that ends up in Critter's timeline when we get to volume 6.
Gotcha. Okay. So my question is there an original, or are they all variations happening at the same time? Like, do you have a Critter Prime? Are you not answering? I can't see you.
You can't see me. Oh, I was like doing like I don't know.
For some reason, StreamYard does this thing where we're in this view. It's glitched.
Sure.
So I see a bunch of squares. So when you're making gestures, I'm like, I don't know what you're doing.
You can leave it the other way if you want to leave it that way. That's fine. I was just basically like throwing up my hands. I was like, I don't know. You have to read the story.
Yeah, I was like, don't spoil anything, but you know me, I'm always looking into the story.
So I mean, theoretically, like the critter that we know is the critter prime, right? But
that's who we know, but it doesn't necessarily mean she is.
Right. And so part of that mystery is the fact that Paradox has quote unquote critter with him in his future laboratory. And he says that, you know, basically that he's plucked this critter out of time from some future down the line. So maybe that was the future. And then we all know that every time that like the future, like we just talked about, whenever something changes, like you get sort of a separate timeline. So, you know, that's like, where all this stuff happens.
He's like looking at it. He's like opening his cell phone. He's like, I still got critter. Wait, it's different critter. Like, it's like, change it back. I need a different critter.
Yeah.
And why? We so need to know why Paradox is doing all this damn stuff. Like, as I was reading, was it High Tide? Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like they're all getting ready for this battle, and then fucking Paradox is just like, oh, and the thing, and you're gone now. And I was like, excuse me. Like, they spent all this time trying to figure it out, and you're like, it's done. And I'm like, why? Why would you let them do that and then just step in and change? So obviously there's something going on. You know what I mean? That I was just...
Well, yeah, and at the very beginning of it, going all the way back to the first miniseries, Paradox talked about Tide Pool. He was like, you guys will figure this out eventually. Like, so he clearly knew what Tide Pool was already.
And either didn't help them, it's like he's so infuriating because he has the answers, but he won't help them get there.
That's right.
Where he could just be like, you got to do the thing, you got to knock down this, and then you push a button and all the water goes back. No, He's just like, you'll figure it out. Dude, are you part of the team or not? Obviously not.
Yeah.
So
he was always meant to be like a watcher, essentially. You know, like we have the Watchers in Marvel, except that he also has his underlying purposes for, you know, whatever he's doing.
Yeah, I stand by what I said earlier. F you.
But yeah, it's a huge universe. And when we got to issue 15, we wanted to really show it because that's when all of the various fights were happening around the United States. And so we went like, hey, well, you're in New York and you're in Florida and you're in Texas, whatever. And it's just loaded with dudes like fighting these various Tide Pool, you know, entities.
Yeah.
And so we just went crazy. It was just like, let's just fucking start making characters. And then I told FICO, I was like, look, do whatever you want to do, man. Like, if you want to just throw something in, like throw something in. So he just designed some weird stuff and threw it in there. And then others we like designed specifically to be like, you know, eventually we'll use these characters down the line.
Like Alligator Girl. I want Alligator Girl in my
that's Alligator. And
Shut up.
Alligator. Yep. And that is Jen Brumal's character. Jen Brumal actually did that as a sketch. Like she did that as just a sketch, like a girl alligator wrangler. And I was like, do you want to put her in the comic? And she was like, yeah. So that's Alligator. Yeah.
I'm searching for that panel we're talking about where people can see all of the different groups fighting.
So there's a guy named Lone Star. So he's basically like Captain America, but his shield is just a star. You know, stuff like that. We just kind of went cliche and meta and just, you know, had some fun with designing some. There's a girl named Jackalope. You know, Jackalope. You know, all kinds of weird stuff.
I that was one of them because of course I had homework, so I couldn't stay on that panel and really look around. So, but I mean, obviously, the Alligator Girl really stuck out for sure. I was like, I want this one. I want a story with the Alligator Girl. Still scrolling.
Yeah, we've had throughout the series, other people's characters from their books appear in the book. So in volume 1, issue 4, Cat 5, at the very right there. In fact, that's her right there in the red and white.
Yeah.
That's Sebastian. That's Sebastian Picone's. That's his character. He's from Florida, so he made his character called Cat 5, basically off the hurricanes, like Category 5.
Oh.
So she appeared first in Critter number 4, and then we brought her back here. So there's been a whole bunch of characters that other people have had that were like, yeah, we can like put them in there, and we'll just have some fun with it.
Yeah. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about, where it's like, okay, we got Los Angeles, we have Texas, we have Florida, and we have New York. And I was just like, man, there's so much going on here.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to. I'm glad you mentioned it because I wanted to come back and look, because it's like, do we have?
Yeah, and there's a few scenes like this too. There's even one like when they win, you'll see them all kind of being like, "Yay, we won the day," you know. Yeah, it was fun to just kind of be like, let's just do a character dump here, and you know, kind of show that this is like a legitimate universe, superhero universe, versus just like we're following these few characters. So we went way out, and
you named this guy Barnacle of all the names.
That was not me. That was the guy who created him. That was the guy who created him. Yeah, Barnacle.
It's a bad name. Like, he's a great character, and like he's good looking. You named him Barnacle. I'm like, I think I want to be this. I definitely want to be Alligator for Halloween this year. Yeah. So that's why I was like, man, I had no idea how big the Critterverse was. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And this character is just messed up. Like, I need to. There's check out Critter miniseries number 3. I need to go back and read that, because this where he was like, I'm here for a tickle fight. I'm like, what?
Well, he was supposed to be like my Joker, essentially.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
He's this guy who's not all there, but he does actually have powers. He can actually throw these little like stingers and stuff. That's why he's called Yellow Jacket.
Gotcha.
But what drives him crazy is that the stingers that are inside him, when he can move them around, like he can put them in his fist, so he can like punch you in the face with like stingers and stuff.
Okay.
But he feels it. It's pain. So the pain drives him literally just crazy. And so he is not all right in the head. And so he'll kind of just go through these portions of like, you know, really, really wicked, and then like sort of tease her right there. But of course he's stealing her belt. He's not just like literally just tickle. He's trying to distract her so he can get the belt and the tail off of her, so that, you know, that kind of stuff. But then, so there's a
like,
story.
What's wrong with you? And he's like, yeah, give me your email. I'll send you a spreadsheet. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
There's obviously a lot wrong with this man.
Oh yeah. We did a Critter annual that was also tied into High Tide, and there's a story for him in that where he starts to think about, hey, maybe I could help these people as the water is starting to rise. But how do I say this? But it doesn't go well. We'll just say it doesn't go well. So you guys can get that Critter annual and read that too. So it doesn't go well.
There was something else I wanted to talk about. Where is it? Nope.
Yeah, Yellow Jacket is he'll be around again. He'll swing around. He'll swing around. But there's a whole bunch of bad guys too that have just had like, you know, little quick one shots. Well,
like all the way in the beginning, like this is what I wanted to talk about too. I was reading this. Okay. I read this before Carissa's show, and I was like, what the F? Just how you started that whole volume. Hold on, I must massively scroll to the beginning. All right, so right, so here we are. We're at the bank, and then this lady, she's like, I'm gonna melt you all. Like, you can't shoot bullets at me, and blah blah. She's breaking in. She uses her ass to break into the vault. She's like, I'm so hot. Look what you got. Like, she gets in, and then this guy's like, everybody out. And she's like, well, you're not. And he's totally not even there for her. And he's like, gets all the people out, and she's mad. And all of a sudden, it's like, She's like right in the middle of calling herself invincible and gets hit with just a tidal wave. I was like, okay,
Yep, that's Red Hot.
Attention.
That's Red Hot.
She's all like into her moment and like, I'm invincible and I will win. And then he's like, no one even cares about you. Do whatever. We don't care. Like,
yep. There's characters like that kind of, popped up here and there. Like in issue 4 of the original miniseries, Yellow Jacket forms Agents of Unicorn, which is just this group of, bizarrely put together Cricket and Pitbull and Faith and him. And so we just kind of have fun with those characters from time to time. And Red Hot has a connection to Electric Youth. Here's the question. Here's the question for the room. Does anyone understand, just from the names, Electric Youth and Red Hot? Do you know where those names came from? Trivia time. It's trivia time.
Are they band names?
They're not.
They're candy. I mean, Red
Hot. They are not.
I was like, no, that can't.
No. Well, yes, Red Hot is a candy, yes, but I don't think there's an Electric Youth candy. But those two names.
It'd be cool if there was.
I know, right? Maybe there will be now. But yeah, those two names.
Are you paying attention?
They came from a very specific place. And somebody got it. That is correct. Electric Youth and Red Hot are 2 of her songs.
Lou.
Yeah. Red Hot is on her first album, and Electric Youth is on her second album.
Lou gets a gold star for the day.
Yeah, well done. Well done. Absolutely. And then
songs for character names.
And we'll take it even further. This you'll appreciate this, Lou. I have a character who's also just goes by the name of Tiffany. Is it?
Do you have Gem as well?
No, we will not infringe
Tiffany.
on IP. We will not infringe.
Tiffany.
Yeah. But yeah, I
I remember. I was like, she got rescued by the Koepp guy.
Yep. Yep. She's just a powerhouse. She's just pure power. Yeah, she gets rescued by Tomcat.
Is she alone now?
Yeah, she gets rescued down. She gets rescued by Tomcat, and then they're kind of having like a moment, like, hey, thank you. And then
that's funny too, where she's like, get down.
Yeah, she's like pushes him out of the way, and like a building falls, and she's like, got it. Yeah.
And of course, we have to have the shark moment.
The sharks, yeah.
Yeah. Here's the first appearance of the shark.
Yeah, first appearance of sharks, yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, with the school bus of kids. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, but it's Tom. He won't actually let it eat the children.
There you go. Punching sharks. We're punching sharks.
Oh, wait. There's one where she's underwater. Hold on.
Yeah, it's coming.
Spoil the entire thing. I know. Here we go.
Oh, you don't want to spoil it. Okay.
I don't want to give everybody everything because it's such a It's good. But I was like, that's great. That's great. Nice moment.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. I knew the answer. Yeah. How are you actually? Wait, Lou, explain. You're very heavy metal. Like you listen to heavy metal, or you're very heavy metal as in you're super cool? Because we already knew.
She's a robot. She's a robot. She's very heavy metal. She's a robot. She's a robot. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, all Critter is Critter is like it's like a lot of the comics that I grew up with. Like 70s and 80s is when I really was coming up with comics. And the comics back then would have like sort of serious stories, but then they'd also just have like these weird tangential, like, let's just have a little fun with the character for a minute and do that kind of stuff. So Critter is very like Spider-Man and Wonder Woman and, those kinds of things that I grew up with. So it's, you don't necessarily want to say like it's an all ages book because it's not really like a kid's book, but it really is for pretty much for anyone. Anyone could pick it up and be like, oh, I get it. Like, I understand what's happening. I understand the superhero genre ish, thing that's happening here. Plus all the science fiction with the parallel dimensions and the time travel and, all that kind of stuff.
You wouldn't quite get it.
Yeah. It's a mix of, all the things that I've always loved, with comics from back in the day. I mean, Even the X-Men did like Days of Future Past, and they went into their future and saw like the crazy, like, oh my God, the future is going to be so wild. And, you know, they just left it there as like, oh yeah, that's a potential future for us. So yeah.
So just a reminder to everybody, this launches on Saturday at, you said 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yep.
And then it'll end the following Sunday night. Yes, you'll have 8 days.
Yeah. So you have 8 days to go in and pick up your, this is just a really easy way for you to get into Critter or into some of the other series that maybe you haven't read, but maybe you're into Critter and you haven't read Legend of Oz, etc., etc. You can get in here and get these trade paperbacks at a really good price. There's no additional shipping involved. Lots of really good stuff. Hey, Corissa, is it Wednesday evening already? What are we doing Wednesday evening?
That's when you do your show. That's the Tuesday morning brew on Wednesdays. Remember?
Oh, I was confused. I was like, what are we doing? Yeah. I love when people ask me if they can do the Tuesday morning brew on Wednesday night. And I'm just like, give them that look like, what do you not understand?
Yeah, if you like horror, we got horror for you. If you like science fiction and fantasy, we got that for you. It's we got everything. So all kinds of stuff. So dive in and, you know, try it out.
I don't know about the mop, not really the best weapon, but she does utilize it very well.
Yeah, well, it's a broken mop. You know, the other side is
sharp.
The key side. Yeah.
Ew, horror. Yeah, right. I'm on the last season of the Umbrella Academy. The timelines are intense. I did not like the last season, Lou. I'm not going to spoil it for you because I finished it, but I wasn't happy. I really feel like Umbrella Academy, the first season was the best. You know what I mean? Everything after that was kind of like, I watched it, but it didn't have the same. It wasn't the same the same excitement, you know what I mean, as the first one. They were just
I'm not the only one that hates everything. Laurie hates everything too.
I don't hate everything. But I mean, like, I don't want to say
you just hated on 3 seasons of a show, right? In one shot.
I mean, have you seen them?
I didn't get through episode 1. I was done. I was like, no.
Of season 2?
Of season 1. Like episode 1. I got to the point. Here's the funny part. Let's tie this all together.
Yeah,
as soon as the Tiffany song came on, I was like, I'm out. I'm done. I'm out.
You know, like the communal dance scene. No, yeah. No. I don't like Sober Klaus either. Like, they do a bunch of stuff in that season, and then the way that they end it, I wasn't happy. We'll just say it that much. Yeah. But if you could go back and watch Umbrella Academy season 1 for the first time, that's a great feeling. Like with 5 and just Run Boy Run episode, and it's really good. Really good. After that, though, you know that meme where they have the drawing of the horse?
Yeah.
Where it's like the first drawing is like really nice drawing rendition of a horse, realistic, and the other it starts becoming like more and more of a stick figure horse. That's Umbrella Academy.
I feel sometimes like my career is the opposite. Like I go back to the beginning and it's like, for sure, that's the stick figure horse. And then we get better as we go along. Like
Big Dog Inc. Yes.
Yeah. Me. That's what I'm talking about. Me.
Yes.
Me.
I thought you meant going back and watching some of the shows, and I was
me.
No.
Yeah, no, yes. I go back.
That's how it should be, though.
Well,
you know what I mean?
100%.
Hollywood does this. Hollywood is like,
oh sure,
they get the first good new idea, and then they bring people in who are like, we're gonna make it better, and inevitably they make it worse.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, get out of there.
It's
let
like a weird
creator do it.
Yeah, it's like a weird, awkward thing for me when I'm at like cons and stuff, and people are like, "Oh, like where do I start on this?" And I'm like, "Start on 5. Start on volume 5. Don't start at 1. Start on volume 5, please, because it's so much better." But it's like, yeah, here's volume 1. This is where you start, and I'm like,
it's hard.
Please don't judge me on that.
Corissa was talking about that too, where she was like, she's constant. You know, she's been redoing and reworking some of her earlier issues, and I'm like, why? But she's like, but that's my first impression. You know what I mean? So you want that first thing that you put in their hand to be awesome. So I understand, like,
but there's only so much you can do to sort of fix it. Like, you know, most of it's just sort of in the dialogue, your lettering and stuff. Like we did that with Penny for Your Soul. I went back in and completely revamped Penny for Your Soul.
You did art too?
No. Well, yes, actually, yes.
Really?
But only in the context of we didn't have layered pages. So all the letters were flat to the art. And so what we did is I had the new letterer do the letters over the bubbles where they were, but new lettering. But since it didn't fit perfectly, I had a colorist come in and color in the areas so it would match the art behind, you know, that we weren't covering.
Oh my God.
So we had to do that too.
Carissa.
Yeah, it was a chore, but at the end of the day, it made that book so much better. Like the lettering was better, the dialogue was better, the pacing of it was better. Like I knew what I was doing better than when I did it the first time. And so I could come in and be like, we can't like totally change this, but I can make this a better reading experience for people that are coming into it. And I think we did that. Really, really, really proud of everybody's work that he did on that. So with Critter though, I haven't done that. I think Critter, I was just more loose when it was happening. Like when I was writing Critter, I was just like, let's go, man. Like I'm just writing superheroes. Like let's go. But Penny for Your Soul needed more depth. It needed a little more power to it. Because we were dealing with like things like selling your soul and you know, what does that mean and things like that. So while we were still, I was still on crack writing that book. I mean, I don't know. I watched that thing and I'm like, what?
I mean,
what
literally
are we doing?
crack, or
what was I doing? No, like a lot of caffeine and sugar, probably.
I was like, are you claiming Stephen Kingdom? Where he was like, I don't remember writing that book because cocaine.
No, but there's definitely stuff in there that I'm like, what was I doing? What was I thinking? Like, what is going on? Like, what's the thought process? But it's also, again, it's just an interesting, it's a time capsule to when you wrote whatever it is that you wrote, because that's just where you were 15, 16 years ago. And you put a book out and that's it. Like, don't worry about it. Just let it be what it is. But, I didn't go in and try and like George Lucas it, but we did, clean up, because I didn't have an editor or anything back then. So we cleaned up all the dialogue. I had my current editor, like, please help me. Like, is this better? And so she worked on that to help me clean that up. And it's a better reading experience, but Critter, I think, is just so loose and so organic. And I feel like I know the superhero genre well enough. That's where I started. That was the first book I ever wrote, was Critter.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know how to write, but I understood the genre. And so I was like, let me go. And I just like throwing stuff at the wall, like, oh, there's alternate realities and weird back guys and like this, like throw it on the wall and what sticks. And that's what we got with Critter. And then once we got to volume 2, the ongoing series, I had that little like mini foundation to then build on. And we were off to the races. And it's a good mixture, I think, of like continuity throughout the whole thing. But every now and then we just do an issue where it's like, well, let's just have some bad guys. And even though there's a continuity hitch to it, like you were talking about with Son of a Gun, it's basically Critter versus Son of a Gun, but it also has that little bit of paradox, continuity in it. And then same thing when she goes and fights Iron Butterfly and gets her butt beat. It still has that little touch of, paradox continuity to it. But it is like, but it is like, hey, let's just have some superhero fun here. So,
I think it still ties into the story because he's manipulating and he's trying to do things. But I agree. Like,
it could be more
fun
standalone
moment where it's like, we're gonna put Critter against some bad guys and see what she does.
Yep.
Yep. And that's literally what he said. He's like, we're gonna put you against some bad guys and see what you do. I was like, wow.
Yeah. We'll test you out. We'll see what's going on. And then so that part of that Son of a Gun issue where he goes into the pawn shop for superhero villain stuff, gear, and everything, because that's what it is. It's called Super Pawn, and it's for these guys to like, hey, I've got this axe, I don't need any more,
nuke.
you know,
You
whatever.
want it?
Yeah, exactly. So Super Pawn was created by Jeff Pena, a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And he when I saw that, I was like, dude, that's amazing. And so he did a Super Pawn backup story in a few issues of Critter that sort of introduced the concept. But when we were done with that, I was like, do you mind if I like just like use that from time to time? And he was like, no, of course, like go ahead. And
Right?
so I 100%, I was like, this is the moment for Super Pawn to like become continuity. And so I sent Son of a Gun into Super Pawn because he's looking for his dad's gun. That's why he's called Son of a Gun. He's looking for his dad's old gun. And of course he finds it, and you know, off we went, you know, whatever. But yeah, Super Pawn is Jeff Pena's creation. So yeah,
The golden gun from freaking GoldenEye.
yeah. That was it. See, look how deep you are. You're deep. Yes.
It's like, oh my gosh.
I
See,
love how
I
you
know
grab
what
those
you're
things.
doing. I'm having fun.
Yeah, that's how you infringe on IP without infringing on
Exactly.
IP.
Without infringing on IP. You don't actually tell people what it is, but you
Right.
make it obvious, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to share this before we run out of time.
Okay.
Because this is obviously important. This is
yeah.
Big Dog Inc. All Access Patreon.
Yeah.
Tell
And
us
you will
about
get to
this.
see
Ooh.
nothing because it's all blacked
It's all
out.
locked.
Yeah, it's all locked. If you want to see it, you gotta pay to see it. Yeah, this is our Patreon. So surprise, it's gold. So yeah, so our Patreon is I mean, it's for anybody, but it's for fans that want to kind of get that heads up on everything that we're doing, everything that we do, from designs and logos and previews of covers and watching the roughs turn into lines, turn into colors. Like if you like the process of comics, it's right here. And then and it's good for creators too, right? So if you want to watch how we create, you can watch how we do things at Big Dog Inc. and kind of create these things. And then we also do, so regardless of your levels, the all access or the VIP, we also do what's called Patreon perks. So if you're a Patreon member and you back our Kickstarters, you get Patreon perks. They have been in the past original art sketch cards. They have been limited edition metal cards, stuff that just the patrons get. And then if you're a VIP patron, you'll get the perks, but then you also get the every 6 month perk, which is a free variant cover just sent to you. Like, hey, it's been 6 months. Thank you. Here's a variant cover for you. And then the VIPs also get to vote on things. So like when we did Pillow Fight Day, they got to vote on the people who were going to fight in Pillow Fight Day. They've gotten to vote on names of our characters. They've gotten to vote on, you know, all kinds of stuff. So they get to vote on things like that as well. So there's a whole lot of perks to being VIP but if you just want to do the $5 level, you will get all of this unlocked and you'll get the Patreon perks.
Moo J. Moo J is great. Oh, there's so much good stuff. And it's all locked.
It's all locked. It's all locked.
That's
yeah,
cool.
We just posted
What are the characters that they named? I'm just curious.
So the first one was Beauregard, the rabbit that you wrote.
Yes.
Yeah. They named Beauregard. And then they named Blue Jay's her regular name. They named her Chloe as her civilian
name.
Yeah, they gave her a civilian name. So they named her Chloe. Yeah. So every now and then those things pop up and you know, you guys get to vote on it. Make it happen. And then right now they're voting on the team ups. So we're doing these covers for Critter called Doghouse Team Ups, which is like the old Marvel team ups where it's like Spider-Man and somebody else from Marvel. And we've done 2 of them. So the first one was with Blue Jay. The second one they voted on. The second one was Tina from our Jungle Girl book. So we did that cover. And then they're voting for one that's coming up, and they've voted for Danica to be the team up. So from Penny for Your Soul, our Devil Girl. So that will be a cover that we'll have for Critter 23, the next Doghouse team up special cover.
Did they vote on the bikini team too?
Yes,
was
that's
that?
right. Yeah, they got to vote on the bikini team.
Yeah.
Yeah. They picked the 4 members of the bikini team. Yes, they did.
We had a long conversation about the bikini team. I was like, "What is this?" And you were like, "You were around in the '80s. You should know better."
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's important. I love it when people can come and they can get a closer look, a more intimate experience. You know what I mean, and participate on another level. I have not considered doing a Patreon. This looks like work to me. It's like, this might be too much work.
I mean,
for me,
it is this too much work for the girl who's making hot sauce and binding books and like chopping up fruit for videos and doing like, look, I'm dead, I'm alive, I'm like I'm just like,
that one was your favorite, was it not? You were like, what are you doing?
It was, yeah, it was my favorite. But I'm still asking, what are you doing? Yeah, it's too much.
That was 100% Kickstarter overload, as we all go through at the end, where it's just watching things go up and down and up and down and up and down. That was me in that moment. Like, I don't know what to do with me. Here I am.
Yeah,
I'm nuts. So
yeah, it's too much. It's too much. You make me tired. You make me tired. Every one of your posts is like, look, I made this. I made cookies. Look, I made hot sauce. Look, I made. Oh, I painted the house too. Like, I'm like, holy God.
Yeah, that's me. I was just like, oh, and I baked 2 kinds of bread today. Would you like to know what kind they are? We have our chocolate, cranberry, walnut, chocolate chip sourdough. And then I also made a mini loaf of the everything bagel and chive sourdough. Been doing the sourdough recently. So that's fun. At least once a week. Because you got to feed the starter, and then the starter grows, and then you got to make the bread.
Yeah. So I'll just say this: I'll be coming through your way in October, so I will request banana bread.
You want banana bread?
You
got it. I make a killer banana bread. But we're gonna go for some barbecue for sure. Like, you come down through Texas, we're gonna go get some either Hard 8 or Hutchins, or there's Hutchins. It's almost like Hutchinson, but it's
yeah.
Okay, Hutchins. But you got to have some barbecue here as you're coming through. So
yeah, I'll be at a con in St. Louis. Oh my God, October. Let me look at the calendar. So the 5th. So the 5th and the 6th, that's the con. So I'm going to be heading your way down the 7th and the 8th
of October.
Yeah, because I'm not going to go home and then come back. I'm just going to take a couple of days of I'll just wander through Texas for a couple of days. So 7th and 8th, I'll be down your way, or when I come back up the following week. So if the 7th or the 8th doesn't work, we can do it the other way too.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm the weekend of the 12th, the 11th, 12th, and 13th. I got invited to San Antonio for Big Texas Comic Con. So
there's a ton of people that are going there. So
that's what I understand.
Yeah.
Gilbert
will be there. I told him to go say hi to you.
Cool.
I was like, say hi to Tom.
Cool. Yeah, and I'll be there. They're bringing Nia Rufino down as well.
Yay! So that's exciting.
We'll be down there, and we'll be launching the Critter Kickstarter at the con. On that Saturday, we're going to launch it at the con. Yeah.
How often do you get to see Nia in person?
Very rarely. Very rarely.
Yeah.
Once a year usually, because they take us out to Albuquerque for that show in the summer. So usually once a year. This year I'm going to see her a few times because she's going to Baltimore with us in a couple of weeks. So I'll see her there, and then I'll see her a month later down there. And then I'm going to be at Albuquerque proper, the Albuquerque Comic Con in January, to start off the 25th or the 15-year anniversary with Albuquerque Comic Con, because they're inviting us to go out there, and so they'll bring her out there as well. So
can you share anything about what you have planned for next year?
As far as stuff, yeah. So it's gonna be.
But you've been teasing us with artists that you want to have involved. You're not gonna announce those yet.
Yeah, no, we're not telling you any of that stuff. No, that's
maybe in January when you're on the show.
I'll tell you this: join Patreon and you get to find out.
There you go, everybody. There's your
because they are already seeing next year's stuff right now. They're already seeing it. So join Patreon and you'll get to know all of this stuff. But I just picked up another artist the other day. I was like, holy shit. He another name artist. whoa. I reached out to him and I was like, it was the guy that I had talked to previously. And it just never worked out. So I threw out a message again. I was like, look, man, I know you're busy. I'm watching what you're doing, but anytime in the next year that you have a spot, like we'll have something for you, like literally anytime. And he was like, yeah, man, like hit me up like around Christmas time. I was like, oh yeah. So we're like knocking down dominoes of all these guys that I want to work with that are like name people. And I'm like, my mind is exploding right now with the coolness of it. And what's better is that even though these guys have been doing this a long time and they've seen it all, man, like when I show them what I want them to do, they're like, yo, this is awesome. Like, what is this? I'm like, dude, you have no idea how like amazing that feels, that you who have drawn everything are like excited
about my stuff.
For our designs and stuff. Yeah. So like the most recent dude, he that's what's on our most recent Patreon post. That one actually is not for next year. That's going to be for Critter in October. It's our first time working with him. Screw it. It's Christgau.
Yes,
it's a guy.
Yes, you heard it here first, everybody.
It's Christgau. So he's doing a catnip cover. And he was just going on about it. He was just like, dude, this design is epic. Like it is like super modern and slick. And like, I love this. And I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. So even now he even said to me, he was like, dude, I hope I get to do more with you, 'cause your stuff is great. I'm like, yes. Okay. Okay.
That high pitched. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So there's that, and there's some new guys coming in as well, some new like lower level guys, because I'm always looking for just like new people. So there's a new guy who just turned in he's doing a Nosferatu cover, which is our vampire cat girl. We call her Nosferatu. So he just turned in his cover. It's super cool. I love it. So yeah, so it's a nice mix again of like the people that you know, and then new people that are both like low level and like epic high level dudes. And I'm like, you're going to get a really nice balance of stuff, but awesome. Yeah, super fun.
And you are going to be vending at Baltimore. Yes.
We have a booth. Nia and I will be at, it's booth 139. They just gave us booth numbers. It's booth 139. We're sort of off in a weird corner thing, but we're looking like right at Artist Alley. So if you're on the edge of Artist Alley coming down that line and you just kind of turned around, you'd see us like right there. So we'll be facing Artist Alley. And then so Nei will be with me. Jesse Witchman will be at the show. Chris Enoch will be at the show. Bun Leung is at the show.
Gosh.
Jason Metcalf is at the show. So there's a ton of big dogging people there that are just in Artist Alley, as well as us, hanging out at our own booth. So yeah, it'll be it's a big dog ink event. And then Monroe Comic Con, which is in 2 weeks, right here just south of Detroit. I'll be there. CB Zane will be there, and Bill McKay will be there. So we'll have a nice BDI representation at Monroe Comic Con. Yeah,
man. Like, all these places I want to go. We need to develop teleportation, please. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Jorge, for sure. Come by.
Basically, get there. It says I'll be there as well. I'll stop by and say hello. I'll say Laurie sent me, and hopefully don't get kicked away from your booth. I always tell George to go to people that I know to their booth and say Laurie says hi, and dump a coffee on their table. He won't do it though. He's too nice. So, but go say hi. If you're going to Baltimore, you might as well.
We haven't been to Baltimore in like 8 years. So this is like a return for us. We had done it a few times in our early career. But we haven't been there in a long time. So I'm excited to get back. Ever since I announced it, people were like, oh man, now I have a reason to go. I'm like, well, okay. All right, cool. Yeah. It's a fun show. It's a huge Artist Alley. They have a lot of good like name people there. So it's always been a good show. I don't like that it's in the city. I'm not a big fan of city cons just because of parking is a hassle and all that. But because it's right next to like the football stadium, they've got a lot of parking there. So
parking lot. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's worked itself out.
You can like unload and then go park.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, Baltimore plus the Inner Harbor. That's the origin story of Tom Hutchinson and comic books is the Inner Harbor, because I used to, well, it's not the pure origin story. That was a flea market in Michigan, but the next step, the true, like, let's get into comics moment was the Inner Harbor of Baltimore back in the 80s. I used to go in to work with my dad when I was like 10 or whatever. And so I'd go into the office with him at work, and he'd be like, look, here's $20, go to the Inner Harbor. He would literally just send me through Baltimore by myself. Here's a map.
I mean,
You
it
go
was
from
the
here.
80s.
Yeah,
It's
you go from
different.
here to here. You're in the Baltimore, and there's like a big outdoor mall, and there's like restaurants, and there's an aquarium down there and stuff. And he'd be like, "Here's $20. Go to the Inner Harbor." And
He's like, "See you in 7 hours."
So in the Inner Harbor Mall was Jeppy's Comics. Steve Jeppy is the guy who now runs Diamond Comics, the distributor.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. So I was buying comics from Steve Jeppy when I was a kid at his Inner Harbor comic book store, and it would become a regular thing for me. And that's where I learned about ElfQuest.
Does he know now that you do comics, and have you reunited? You know what I mean? Based off that's awesome.
Yeah. Briefly on Facebook. Yeah, we're like Facebook friends, and I've sent him messages like, dude, you have no idea who I am, but like here's the story. And he was like, dude, that's so crazy. That's awesome. So but that's where I learned about things like ElfQuest and like Robotech and just all this other stuff. And so it's long gone. It is long gone. But the one thing that does exist there now, maybe still, is Hooters. And the only reason that matters, Laurie Calcaterra,
why does that matter, Tom?
The only reason that matters is because that is the birthplace of Princesses versus Zombies.
Okay.
I went to the last time we were at Baltimore. I went to Hooters.
Did it on a Hooters napkin? Your idea?
Pretty much, yeah. It was. I went there with Jesse Wichman. I went there with a couple of fans of ours, Crystal Buchanan, and we were just like, let's just go to Hooters, whatever. It's easy. And we went there, and we were just talking about the con and stuff, and that's where zombies got brought up, and I had the conversation at the con where somebody was like, well, if you don't like zombies, like how would you write a zombie book that you would like? And I didn't really have an answer for him. But when we were at Hooters, that conversation came up, and I in my brain I was like, I mean, it would have to be something just nonsensical, like Princesses versus Zombies.
You're like, it just has to have tits.
And that was it. And then Jesse Wichman, of course, who's the artist, he was like, yeah, that'd be cool. And so when I got home after that con a few weeks later, I messaged him, and I was like, Jesse, you remember that thing we talked about? And he was like, yeah.
We were joking, but can we do it?
We were joking
real?
about, and I was like, would you want to like design the characters and we'll see if anyone cares? And so he designed Cindy, and we did that first image of Cindy that we released as just a print. It wasn't even a comic. We just released a print at a Comic-Con. I think it was C2E2 maybe. And people came by and they were like, what is that? And I'm like, well, that's Cindy. It's from this thing called Princesses versus Zombies. They're like, well, where's the comic? And I'm like, well, there's no comic. There's just the print. And they're like, well, give me that.
Yeah.
And so we started selling the prints. And then I was like, well, so let's do another one. And so he did Mrs. White. Same thing. We released it at Comic-Con. What is that? I'm like, well, that's that. Well, where's the comic? And I was like, all right,
I'm listening. Yeah,
we're in. And so he designed a couple more, and we had the book released late that year, and off to the races.
Origin story. There it is.
That's
why Hooters matters, everybody.
That's right. That should be a historical landmark now.
Oh my Lord. Tom, sometimes I just can't. You're like, Hooters matters, and we're doing a story. We're doing a story about pillow fights, and
Hooters matters. Hooters matters. Hashtag Hooters matters. I mean, I had a hashtag that went kind of crazy for a while. It was like boobs are fine. I was like, hashtag boobs are fine, because we had people that were all like, oh, this is boob covers, and I was like, yeah, hashtag boobs are fine. And all of a sudden everybody started using it. Like all my artists started using it, and I was just like, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Oh
so
gosh.
Yeah.
We're gonna start a new one. Is sometimes they be bitches. Yeah.
Sometimes that's right.
Right from last night. Sometimes they be bitches.
Yeah, and hashtag fuck you paradox.
Paradox.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway from reading what you sent me. So that was my homework. I was like, fucking paradox. That's my reaction. All right, everybody. That's this week's show. Thank you for joining us in the chat. Thank you, everybody. Lou, you get the gold star for knowing the Debbie Gibson reference. It's good to see Corissa and George with the J and Jared Kaufman. Yeah, man.
Is it George with a J? I said it was Jorge.
J.
I went with Jorge. Is it George?
He goes by George.
It is George. Okay.
I call him Jorge,
fault.
and he just looks at me funny sometimes.
Yeah,
he doesn't correct me. He doesn't correct
good.
me. I think it probably is Jorge. It's Jorge Medina. It's Hispanic, but he goes by
That's
George.
where I went with it, but you never know. So
it's George with the J. Watch out for that tree.
George with the J. Okay.
It's sketchy. Why don't you tell us some social media links so people can follow you? Obviously, we shared the Patreon. That's the best place. You get everything first.
Stop following me. No.
Stop it.
Yeah. So like I said earlier, like I said earlier, basically we live on Facebook for the most part. So you guys are more than welcome to friend me up on Facebook. You don't have to just do the follow. You can just follow me, or you can friend me. Just click the friend thing. And you'll be good. BigDogInc.com is our website if you want to get back issues and stuff. Like right now, if you don't want to wait for all that other, well, I mean, again, the trade paperbacks will be on the campaign, but if you just want back issues of, stuff, we have back issues on the website right there, BigDogInc.com. We're on the X, we're on the Twitter, we're on the TikTok, all of those places. Pretty simple, pretty standard. You can just look up Big Dog Inc. You'll find us kind of everywhere.
Cool. Yeah, I think I follow most of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. It's like, I'm with you. Like, I mostly live on Facebook. I don't know if we're just from that generation, but it's like, and also as a writer, I think a lot of the artist crew is over on Instagram because it's more of like a visual sharing place instead of word. It's not word friendly. Like we are here on Facebook. So
correct.
That's where I tend to be. And I'm on X from time to time just to kind of read what my people say and then get out of there. So it's its own thing. You got to be in the right mindset to run away. And I don't know if you're on Threads. Threads is the new one. So you can be on Threads too.
Oh, quick tangent from that Amityville Horror reference. Don't forget next year. Do you know what Get Out? That's from the Amityville Horror. Get Out.
Yeah.
One of our special things that we're doing for our 15-year anniversary will be happening in October of next year, and it's called Amityville Sorority Sisters. So
I volunteer to be a part of that one. I'm just gonna throw it out there. When it comes to horror and Amityville and writing with the girls, I volunteer. We'll just put it out there. All right. So thanks everybody for watching. Please follow Tom. Make sure that you click that saved the pre-launch link for the campaign, which launches on Saturday, and get some of those back issues and beautiful trade paperbacks. We want those trade paperbacks to go. So Tom gives us the omnibus. Release the omnibus.
Release the omnibus. That's good. I like that. Hashtag release the omnibus.
Yes.
Good. It's
We're
good.
Looking forward to that. So we will see you all next week. I got more indie creators coming on to talk deep dive, and make sure you kiss your babies, be excellent to each other, and we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Life makes you unashamed, and comics are your escape. Put a little madness in your life. Come give your mind a cleanse. Tune in with pops and friends. Just turn on your Roku box and then put a little madness in your life. Put a little madness in your life. Yeah, put a little madness in your life.
Consequences.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit cb4k.org.